Hey guys, this is Warwick from Casual Chess, back for another 5-minute game today. Looks like I'm playing as white against an opponent from Brazil. In the last few games we've managed to get over a 1400 ranking, and hopefully we can keep that going at the moment. I'm playing a fairly ordinary opening, d4. I've got a bit of a Queen's Gambit kind of situation going on here. I've pinned my opponent's knight on f6. He tries to kick me with h6, forcing me back there. Interesting, c5. So how are we going to go about this? Well, we could take on c5, although if takes on c5 that gives him an opportunity to develop his bishop out to c5, which is a desirable square, and it would retake my pawn. So I think what I'll do is I'll play e3. Okay. Time now for me to develop my own knight. I'll play Nc3 after he's played Bxe7, removing the effective pin of the knight. Okay, Queen b6. After Queen b6 I'm tempted to play something like b3, although after b3 he's got Queen a5, which pins my knight to that square. Instead what I think I'll do is I'll play Queen c2, that defends the pawn on b2. It also means that I'm able to castle queenside more safely if I choose to do that later. I'm expecting now, yep, okay, my opponent has castled. I'll play bd3, getting my bishop into the game and allowing me to castle on either side if I wish to. I say I was kind of expecting that, so we will simply retake with the bishop. I'll castle kingside now. And I may look to reposition this rook that's currently on the f1 square to d1. Why d1? So that when retakes, I've got a powerful rook on an open file here. Okay, interesting. So, where to next? I must say I'm tempted to play something like d5, although I don't know if that works. After d5, pawn retakes, bishop takes, knight retakes. We've got some decent moves there. What about something like e4? e4 is protected by the knight on c3 and the queen as well. I think what we'll do is we'll play e4. e4 looking to advance the d5 pawn, or the d4 pawn to d5 with a bit more extra support now. That's one option. Alternatively, it allows me to play something like e5, which kind of prevents that knight from sitting on f5, f6 so happily. Now my opponent's a bit ahead in terms of time development. Something for me to work on there. Okay, this was to be expected. Now, I could retake with the knight, but I don't think I will. Keeping the rook on this strong file there, d file, which is pretty open at the moment. It also defends the bishop on c4. We've also got the option of playing bishop to b5, threatening the queen, and also sort of skewering it to the rook, the knight on d7. Although that is defended quite a number of times there, so probably what I will look to do at the moment is... okay, my opponent's played nb6. Now I would say that that is an error, so what I will do is I will play bb5, Bb5 skewers the queen on c6 and the rook, another powerful piece back there, on e8. I'm happy to trade off a bishop for a rook, and it'd be interesting to see where he repositions his knight to. Sorry, his queen, pardon me. All over the place today. I believe we have better development at the moment. I'll take that piece there. Obviously retaking on e7 with the bishop is an idea. I think that's what we'll do. Now that we have some advantage, we'll seek to get some of the pieces off the board. I'll play my rooks both onto the d file, stacking them up. Solid structure here, so I'll play Ne5 and I will threaten that bishop on the d7 square. Really trying to trade as many pieces off the board now as I can as we approach the end of the game in terms of time. I do have a little bit more time than my opponent, about 20 seconds extra, but I think that I'm forcing him to solve more difficult puzzles than he is forcing me to solve, and so hopefully I can keep ticking that time down, put him under pressure, and hope for a mistake. Again, quite happy to be trading these pieces off the board at the moment. Okay, although the question is, what is next? What we'll do is we'll play rook 1 d2 just to use up a little bit of time. Rook 4 d3. Dropping back. I don't see any risk in this position at the moment. Obviously I've got a move like b3. b3 kicks that knight back. Okay, rook d6. Again, not seeing any threats in the position at the moment. No major ones anyway. And I'd really like to get my rook onto that d7 square, put the queen under pressure. More so than that, I'd like to keep putting my opponent under time pressure and potentially look to play something like f3, shutting down his attempts to take the pawn on the e4 square at the moment. Okay, that negates the opportunity for f3 because of course there is a fork on the e3 square if I do that. Nonetheless, I can kick in a different way, which I will now do. This makes it very difficult for him to position himself on the e3 square, because of course I will take. And now I think I can really shut him down. He's got about 20 seconds left on the clock. I'm expecting that after knight drops back to f6. Oh, I have to say, he's lost that piece. Interesting. How are we going to manage this now? Look, we'll redirect the knight to e2. We've got to make some move here. Okay. Let's trade these rooks off the board. And I'll reposition my knight to g3. Oh, that's an error. I've just lost my rook. He hasn't seen it though. Unbelievable. Okay. We'll drop back. I've definitely made some massive errors here at the moment. I just, it's all struggling to keep it going, but the timer's out. That's a win for me. I don't know what I was thinking at the end there. Trading the rooks off the board. Silly move because his queen is still protecting that square. I think he was getting too wrapped up in trying to get a checkmate towards the end of the game there, and that's probably why I didn't see that queen takes move. An awful way, really, for me to take advantage of that. I believe a better move in this situation here on f5 was potentially just to take. Now, even after something like queen takes, we've got f takes, and that's also with check. Not sure how my opponent would deal with this, potentially dropping back to king g8. I've also got queen f5. Queen f5 protects the pawn on e6. It also threatens the knight on e5, and simultaneously it threatens the pawn on g4, which could have been a threat if poorly handled. I'm expecting something like queen d4 after that. Alternatively, you also have queen d1 check. Queen d1 check would force king h2, or defending with the rook there on the f1 square to deal with that check. More likely is that I would play after queen d1, king h2, and I would look to advance down the board here. Queen would drop back without a doubt to protect the pawn, or to prevent the pawn from making too many advancements. Obviously this stops e7 now. However, we've got something like, I was going to say we've got something like e4, but after e4, double check and a revealed check. This is an excellent move, and it would actually end the game, in fact. Can't move there, can't move there, can't move there, and after dropping back to h1, checkmate. So you do have to be careful quite until the end of the game. So after queen d6, good move. If I was to play something like e4, it's all over. So, quite a few interesting options for my opponent there, and quite a few errors for me towards the end of that game, especially rook d8, big error. Thankfully my opponent didn't see it, and I was able to take advantage anyway, simply because he was running low on time, and I think he was trying to go for that checkmate in the corner. Whew, bit of a relief though. So, alright, just run my own analysis today. As you can see, we've talked through that a little bit. So hopefully that game was entertaining for you, and we managed to get away with the win and build that rating up to 14-13. The next goal will be 1500, and in fact in the future I might create a little bit of a series about that, road to 1500, or maybe even road to 1600 if we're feeling confident. So, alright guys, well thanks for watching this one. Please give the video a like if you liked it. If you didn't like it, please let me know what I could do to improve in the future, and I'll try and work on that for you, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Thanks guys, bye.